In this week's Parsha, Parshas Matos Maasei, Moshe Rabbeinu writes down all the travelings that Klal Yisrael went through in their 40 years in the Midbar. And the pasuk's lashon is, he writes it al pi Hashem, on the mouth of Hashem. What does this mean? The Shlach HaKadosh explains that when Moshe wrote al pi Hashem, it means that everything we do should be al pi Hashem. We should always be constantly saying, Baruch Hashem, Be'ezras Hashem, Bechazdei Hashem. Everything is with the chesed of Hashem. This is the original Thank You Hashem movement. In any case, I heard a story from my friend's father, who ended up becoming my friend as well, even though he's double my age, Rabbi David Gerwitz, who lives in the Forshay area of Monsey, and he is very into gematrias. Me and him, we love gematrias. But we always share them, and he told me that about 10 years ago, he was driving, and he got into an accident, and the car that hit him only sideswiped his car, but the car door had to be repaired. Baruch Hashem, he was saved, no injuries, too bad. And he was bringing his car to be fixed in the Bronx, and he had to have a cab to go pick it up. And he's sitting in the cab reading this week's Parshas Maasei, looking at Rashi, seeing that the first Rashi says that why were all these travelings written? To tell you that Hashem did this all with such chesed. Why? Because even though you would think 40 years and there's 42 Maasei, and they're always constantly picking up and traveling, he said, no, rather it's to tell you because most of the travelings were either in the first year or after Aaron HaKohen was nifter. So within the entire 38 years, because most of them were in the first year, they only traveled like 19 times in 38 years, which is not so much. So the chesed of Hashem was that they didn't have to travel so much. He's looking at this and he's reading, chesed of Hashem is everything. Meaning, it hit him that it says so many times, vayisu, vayachnu, vayisu, vayachnu. They traveled, they camped. They traveled, they camped. And he said, we constantly do that on a daily basis. Like, I'm driving from, my car was an accident, and I'm driving to the Bronx, and I'm going to get the cab. And then I'm in the cab to get my car back. Now I'm going home. And we do that on a daily basis. We wake up, we go to shul, we sit down, we have breakfast, we go to work, we go to yeshiva, we go to kollel, we pick up our kids from school, we go here, we go there, we're always going, stopping, starting, and everything has to be al pi Hashem. Everything has to be bechesed of Hashem. And he said, if you take the gematria of the word vayisu and the gematria of the word vayachnu, the difference between them is 72, which is the gematria chesed. Chesed, the kindness of Hashem, is the difference and allows us to get up and go everywhere. Every single facet of our daily lives is constantly hinged. Is that a word? Hinden. Is the word I'm thinking of, but I can't think of it right now. On HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We are relying on HaKadosh Baruch Hu for everything. And without him, it wouldn't happen. These weeks that we're in the middle of is called the Ben HaMitzarim. Between the borders, between the boundaries. It comes from a pasuk in Eicha, the third pasuk, which says, Kol roid fel hisigua Ben HaMitzarim. That it's talking how Klal Yisrael was exiled and they're just lost. They don't have a place to stay. They're constantly on the move and they're not rest. And Kol roid fel hisigua, anyone who could chase them will catch up to them because they have nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. The Slonim Rebbe, the Siva Shalom, explains as follows. If you read the words Kol roid fel, it's talking about HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because the Shekhinah itself is in Galus too. Kol roid fel, whoever chases after the Shekhinah, whoever seeks out Hashem, Hisigua will be able to reach HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ben HaMitzarim, during this period of time, between the 3 weeks, between Shavasar B'Tammuz and Tisha B'Av, because the Shekhinah is in Galus, and now that it's on the road, it's easier to catch up with Hashem. When the king's on his palace, on his throne, it's very hard to get in a meeting with him. But now that the king's traveling, you could just walk up to him anytime, daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, speak to him, and realize that everything comes from him, b'chesed HaKadosh Baruch Hu, b'chesed Elyon. And once we realize this, we should daven. He's so close. Daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we should to see the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu, and we won't need a Tisha B'Av this year. Binyan Bayis Shlishi B'mheira v'yameinu Amen v'yamein. Have a beautiful Shabbos.